Hi. So I actually haven't seen myself in this with this background for a very long time because I haven't been filming much. But I thought since I had time today and I felt a little bit bored today, so I thought I will just talk about some stuff. So I will consider myself as someone with no friends. And you might think that that's so sad. You don't have any friends. You must be like lonely or like bored or like I don't know, or whatever thing, but also pitiful or things like that. But the thing is, I find that having no friends is actually a very liberating feeling because a lot of the times when we have friends, we may feel like we may have to live up to a certain way that they perceive us or live up to a way that they expect of us. So maybe you know you might have a friend from school and then you might think, oh, um we are supposed to go on the same path, like study, get good grades, do well in work studies, and then end up getting married and all these like things in life. And you might feel like because you compare yourself with that friend, you relate yourself to that friend, you have to make certain decisions or choices according to those fixed expectations or fixed perceptions of how you should live or how you should be. And so otherwise then how are you going to relate to that friend? Otherwise how are you going to connect with that friend if you choose differently, if you have different perception of the world, if you have different opinions and choices and feelings about the world, then how can you relate? So I feel like a lot of times friendships is based on all these things, based on the choices you make. And usually is you have to make similar choices, or you have to have similar opinions or feelings or judgments or expectations about life, about yourself, about others. Sometimes you grow out of all these things. You grow out of all these opinions, judgments, feelings, and you no longer feel aligned with someone else. And that's when, friendships fall apart. You have like a sort of friendship breakup and things like that. And so that's why I feel like sometimes having no friends is actually a very liberating feeling because you no longer feel like you need to live up to something. Like you have to follow something in order to feel accepted or loved or whatever. Because people all over the world, they grow up with like different environments, they're conditioned so differently, they have different views of how they see the world. And so if you were to want to like keep a friend and you want him to continue to like you or to relate to each other or to connect to each other, you sometimes have to fit yourself or mold yourself into a certain way or box in order for you to do that. And so I find that so restricting. So if something feels restrictive to me, if something feels like I have to like mm, change myself in a certain way, or I have to like pretend I am a certain way in order to be like accepted or be a friend with someone, then I very much rather not. And so as someone that as someone with no friends, which I am all right with, I don't really mind. I find that it is a nice thing to have, to not have. It doesn't mean that when someone comes to me, like I will be mean or like I'll push him away or I will like not let him get close to me. On the contrary, because I know who I am really well. I know what I stand for and who I am and how I am. I don't fit myself. I don't feel the need to mold or change myself in a certain way in order to for someone to like me. And that's why I'm actually open to people, coming to me and, you know, talking to me, we can make conversation, we can go out together, we can do stuff together. But I don't feel the need to like people please, to like have to explain myself and my decisions in a way that's supposed to make them feel better, or it's supposed to appease their judgment or their opinions about me, because that's none of their business. It's none of nobody's business. All my decisions, all my choices, how I live is my decision. And I don't think there is a need to have to explain that to someone else. And unless they're really trying to get to know you, they're trying to like be open about your experiences and they want to know you without any judgment, then of course go ahead and share. But if they're like looking at you with like really judgmental eyes and they're like, oh, you chose to be this way, you chose this decision, you'll see things like this, I can't relate. And then they're like, they start to feel like you're inferior to them. And then that's when you're like, okay, maybe I don't have to proceed more like into this relationship more. We can just be like friendly. And so that's actually how I treat a lot of relationships, where I'm like, I don't need friends. I can have them, sure, I don't mind, but I don't need them because I have a lot of acceptance and self-love for myself. And so it doesn't matter to me whether someone accepts me or wants to be around me or wants me as their friend. Because the thing about having friends is like people's expectations or like their definition of what a friendship is theirs, is their own, and you can never change how they wish to see you or how they wish to perceive you and your relationship with them. And you can be friends one day and then the next day like someone says something to them like, oh, you know that I think this person that you're friends with is like blah 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 blah, and this person that is you is blah 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 blah, and then the person's like, what? And then the person believes that person, the other person that told them like this judgmental opinion or experience that they have with you, and they're like, oh, I don't like them anymore, and the next day you're not friends anymore. And so like all these things are so like, you can't control it. You can't control whether someone wants to be friends with you, because that is their decision. That is how they perceive the relationship. That is how they wish to define the relationship. And it can change any day, it can change any moment, and we can't control these things. We can only control who we are. So as long as you're okay with who you are as a person, as long as you're okay with how you treat people, how you live, how you make decisions, how you see the world, then it doesn't matter whether someone is your friend or not. It doesn't matter whether you have friends or not, because you're okay with yourself. And when you're okay with yourself, you're okay with everybody else. And whether anybody else sees you as a friend or sees you as an enemy or sees you as whatever they want to see you as, it doesn't matter to you anymore, because you're just so okay and in love and embodied and grounded in who you are. And I feel like that is the most important. I feel like everything else is secondary. Everything else is whatever. And so yeah, let me know what you think. Am I making any sense? And are you someone that have no friends too, like me? Don't take me wrong. I'm okay with people coming to me, and I'm okay with most of the time I'm very friendly. I'm very warm and accepting and open to other people. And then, but that's how I choose to be. I choose to be friendly. And then whether I'm friends with someone or whether someone chooses to define what relationship they have with me as friends, I don't mind. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. So yep, that's how I choose to live life. And so what about you? You can just let me know in the comments, and then if I have time I'll reply to it. So yep, that's it. Bye.